Perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Shika, and I am a part of the Mayo High School UNICEF Club in Minnesota. And welcome to our UNICEF Unite Clubs webinar.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Iget, and I am a student at George Mason University. We're both on the leadership development team on the National Council.
So thank you to everyone for tuning into tonight's second National Council fundraising webinar, which we are co-hosting with UNICEF USA and Iget and I. And so the UNICEF USA National Council is essentially composed of 14 high school and college students like Iget and I, who work to strengthen the UNICEF Unite Clubs program and also provide the youth voice to UNICEF USA. And with that, for our second fundraising training, we're excited to kick off our new fundraising campaign for the spring.
Yeah, so first let's welcome UNICEF USA Community Fundraising Manager Emiliana Lopez. She's going to walk us through all the details of how to participate in this campaign, including a quick virtual fundraising 101 recap. So you all have all the tools and tips and tricks to host your own fundraiser. Then afterwards, Chika and I will be back to close out the 45-minute webinar with idea sharing, Q&A, and some updates from the National Council. We'll now turn it over to Emiliana, but please feel free to use a Q&A function down below to chat your questions or anything, or any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Shika and Iget, and hi everyone. My name is Emiliana and I work for UNICEF USA on our community fundraising team. I'm really excited to be chatting with you today about the George Harrison Fund for UNICEF Clubs Challenge, hence that wonderful introductory video that we just had in the introduction. And this is our year-long fundraising competition amongst all of our clubs. Then I'll be telling you all about our new spring fundraising campaign that we are kicking off tonight. I will then close out with some key virtual fundraising tips and tricks and resources so you can host successful fundraisers. And again, pass it back to Iget and Shika, who will walk you through an idea sharing session to get all of your creative juices flowing, facilitate a Q&A. So as Iget said, make sure that you chat in all your questions and then close out with some updates. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So first up, I would love to tell you about the George Harrison Fund for UNICEF Clubs Challenge. And to do that, what better way than to show you this wonderful video that will do a great job at explaining what this is all about.
Harrison, with all of the enormous problems in the world, how did you happen to choose this one?
Because I was asked by a friend if I'd help, that's all. There was a lot of kids having had the inspiration to go and do something. All started collecting money and were banging on UNICEF doors saying, what can we do to help? Sun, 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 here we come. Sun, 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 here we go. Sun, 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 here we go. Sun, sun, sun.
Okay, awesome. So why tonight is extra special is because tonight would have actually been George Harrison's birthday. So on February 25th, 1943, George Harrison, member of the Beatles, was born in Liverpool, England. This is the same birthplace of the Beatles some 17 years later in 1960. And then fast forward to about 1971, as you saw in that video, George Harrison pulled off something that had never been attempted before. He organized a benefit concert. In today's day and time, we think that benefit concerts are so common, but really the concert for Bangladesh hosted by George Harrison was the very first of its kind, and this was at the Madison Square Garden. So the concert for Bangladesh was actually a historical feat of rock music. It focused global attention on a humanitarian crisis and raised awareness for UNICEF's life-saving work. And now we are nearly 50 years later, and this tradition established by George Harrison and his dear friend, which he mentions here in the video, Ravi Shankar, through the concert for Bangladesh, it lives on today through the George Harrison Fund for UNICEF Clubs Challenge. So if we go to the next slide, I'll tell you a bit more about what that challenge entails. So the Clubs Challenge is a fundraising competition amongst all of our UNICEF clubs. So the 2020-2021 academic school year challenge is live. It ends on June 1st of this year. So make sure that you submit all your funds by then. And all the funds that are raised by student members of a UNICEF club throughout this academic year will count towards this year's George Harrison Fund for UNICEF Clubs Challenge. And at the end of the academic year, the top 3 fundraising UNICEF clubs will receive an award and a special opportunity on behalf of UNICEF USA for all of your efforts. What's even more powerful is that all of the funds that UNICEF clubs raise will be matched up to $100,000 by the George Harrison Fund for UNICEF. So your impact will go even further. So if you want to find out at any time any more information about the challenge, just go to unicefusa.org/clubs-challenge. But we just wanted to honor George Harrison tonight, it being his birthday, because he really set the tone for what years to come of benefit concerts would look like. And his legacy and tradition really lives on very powerfully amongst our UNICEF clubs to this day. So now all about our spring Clubs Challenge fundraising campaign. And we are so excited to invite you to participate in what we are calling the largest fundraising chain in the history of our clubs program. So we want you all and invite you all to help us reach our goal of raising $10,000 for UNICEF by starting a fundraiser and then nominating a fellow UNICEF club to host their own. That club will then host their fundraiser and nominate another club, and so on and so forth, until all of our UNICEF clubs are participating. Why? Because I was asked by a friend. So if you saw in the video, almost 50 years ago, George Harrison was asked, well, of all the causes to support, why did you pick this one? And he said, because I was asked by a friend if I would help. And we thought that that was so powerful, and his legacy of giving still lives on today. And we just want to honor that and ask our own friends to support the children of the world. So the steps are quite easy. 1, you host a fundraiser. So we're going to walk you through each of these. 2, you nominate a UNICEF club. 3, you show us and win. So let's go through each of these. First, you host a fundraiser. So you can scan this QR code right here. So get out your cell phones and scan it right now, or make note of that bit.ly there at the bottom. And this will open up our GoFundMe campaign page that we have set up for this initiative. You'll want to click on the Get Started button and then follow all the easy steps to create your GoFundMe account. You'll be ready to set up your fundraising page. You can set a goal. You can write out some language of why your UNICEF club is hosting this fundraiser. Tell people why they should donate to your page. And that's it. You can start sharing your page with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your classmates, your faculty, anyone and everyone that you can think of to help support you reaching your goal. Again, the success of GoFundMe is really sharing it with the most amount of people, because every little bit helps. And again, all of the funds will be donated directly to UNICEF, and they will be credited to your club. So as you saw, we keep count of all the funds that our clubs raise throughout the year for the Clubs Challenge. So your fundraiser will also count towards our year-long competition. And then if your club doesn't want to start a GoFundMe page, or perhaps you're not able to, that's okay. You can still participate. Just make sure that you register your event with us at unicefusa.org/fundraiser. And I'll get into that in a little bit. The second step is to nominate a club. So again, part of this is not just you hosting a fundraiser, but nominating another club to host one as well. So challenge another UNICEF club to host their own, and then record a quick video or share a photo of your fundraiser on social media, nominating another club to participate by sharing with them the QR code or the URL that we just showed. And if you didn't take a picture of it, don't worry. We are going to have a toolkit that you can have access to that will have all the resources, downloadable templates, including that QR code. And if you don't have a UNICEF club to nominate, don't worry. You can reach out to the community engagement associate in your region, or you can email hello@unicefusa.org, and we will find a UNICEF club to match you with, which means that this is a great opportunity for you to network with other like-minded peers nationwide. And then finally, the third step is show us and win some giveaways. So make sure that you tag UNICEF clubs in your social media posts and tell us why you're fundraising for UNICEF, inspired by Georgia's quote, for a chance at a giveaway. So we're going to do giveaways for those of you that are participating in the GoFundMe and the leaderboard, but also those of you who are participating on social media. So like I said, in that toolkit that you'll get access to, you'll have downloadable templates like the one here on the screen, where you can easily tag another club and share with us why are you inspired to raise funds for UNICEF, and tell us what friend tagged you in this campaign. Yeah, and then just to get your creative juices flowing, in the next slide we'll see, oh, sorry, let me back up. This is a great place for you to see what that would look like. So go ahead and play the video for us.
George Harrison's birthday.
Wow.
And guess what day it is?
Thursday?
Close. It's also February 25th, which is George Harrison's birthday.
Wow. Here
Right?
Comes the Sun is my favorite song in the world.
Me too. Did you know he hosted the first benefit concert of its kind for Bangladesh?
Now I do.
So I thought we should celebrate, and I think we should do some fundraisers for UNICEF to celebrate. What do you think?
I think we should. I think I'm in.
Great. Well, good thing there's this great fundraising challenge. I'm going to host a fundraiser. I'm thinking about a virtual improv group. Will you join? Do you want to participate?
Let me think what I could do.
Okay, fine. Maybe I'll get some professionals. So we're going to host a virtual improv show. I'm going to create and raise a lot of money for UNICEF. And I'm going to nominate you. So now you, what are you going to host?
Oh boy. You know what? I don't really have a talent, but I'm going to have to go back to my kindergarten days. I'm going to play the recorder. That's how I'm going to fundraise. It'll be a talent show featuring just me.
I'm sure that's going to raise so much money for UNICEF. That's a great idea.
I know. Well, I guess I have to now nominate someone.
Yeah, keep the chain alive.
I'm going to nominate Emiliana.
Ooh, Emiliana, you're on deck.
What are you going to do?
Guess what day?
Well, thank you, Morgan and Jen, for helping illustrate the point of what this campaign is all about. Now, what fundraiser would I want to do? Maybe I will host a virtual comedy show. So maybe along the lines of Morgan's idea. So here is a great example of what a great GoFundMe page looks like. You see here, this club has added in some images. They've written out some language as to who they are and why they want people to donate to their cause. You see they have their goal there, and you can pick to either have the names of the people show and the amounts right there towards your goal. The great thing about GoFundMe is that it's very customizable. Here on the right, we have another wonderful UNICEF club who has included pictures from some of their past events in previous years. Again, a little bio of who they are and why they're fundraising towards their cause. There you can see their goal. You can see the recent donations, the amounts. So again, every little bit counts, but the more that you customize your GoFundMe page, the more successful that you will be. Now that is all about our Clubs Challenge and about our campaign that we are launching. But because I have you all here, I wanted to take the time to go ahead and share with you some extra tips and tricks for hosting a virtual fundraiser, whether you are going to participate in this campaign, which we hope that you are, or just for future. So what I get to do here at UNICEF USA within our community fundraising team is manage what we call our fundraiser and event program. And the community fundraising team, we aim to support individuals or groups that are interested in organizing fundraisers and or awareness-driven events on behalf of UNICEF USA. We call these third-party events, and that basically just means that you as a host, external to our organization, you are the organizer, you put on and finance your event, and we are just the beneficiary of your efforts. We capture all of this through the fundraiser and event application. The friendly URL is unicefusa.org/fundraiser. And if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to hello@unicefusa.org. The steps for hosting a virtual fundraiser are very easy. One, you come up with an idea for an activity or a fundraiser. In normal times, it could be something like what you see here, which is, like a bake sale or something. I should note that at this moment, due to COVID-19, we're only accepting virtual opportunities in support of our organization, but that just means that you can be extra creative. Then you go to unicefusa.org/fundraiser and you fill out the application. And then once your application is approved, you get to explore all of our wonderful resources. You can customize your event platform and show us all the great things that you have designed for your event. So this is the fundraiser and event application. It's really straightforward. You just fill it out with all the basic information of your proposed idea. And if we click once more, what I want to draw your attention to here is that if you want to take advantage of our ticketing or registration page, make sure that you do check that box on the application, because this will ensure that your event page is set up correctly and that all donations that come in through your page will be earmarked to the cause that you want to support. So here is an example of what a ticketing or registration platform looks like. This is the the computer version, the desktop version, but the mobile version is very user-friendly as well. You can add in your flyer, you can customize the name, the date, the time. You can customize the tickets. This really is a platform that is highly customizable to your event needs. You can have different ticket amounts, different ticket names. You have access in real time to all of the data on the back end. So you can see everyone who has registered for your event. You can customize the confirmation email that people receive when they purchase a ticket or when they RSVP, so that it can include important things like the Zoom link or maybe additional instructions. It also has a donate button, so anyone can donate at any time. And what's really great here is that any ticket that is purchased through this platform, that person will receive their own receipt, which is good for tax purposes as well. So again, it's just a very highly customizable platform that is here at your disposal to use for all of your events, whether you're selling tickets or just gathering registrations for your event. So to wrap up some of our best practices when it comes to hosting a fundraiser for UNICEF, remember that friendly URL, unicefusa.org/fundraiser. Please use approved logos only. You will receive access to these logos once your application is approved. It's part of one of the many resources that you receive once your application is approved. You actually get access to this one page that will have all these great downloadable resources, including our approved logos. We do ask that you send all the marketing materials for approval to hello@unicefusa.org prior to printing or distributing, so we can get quick eyes on it and ensure that we're all good to go. If you're wanting maybe a UNICEF or a UNICEF USA guest speaker at your event, we also ask that you streamline those requests through the application. And finally, like I said, take advantage of all of our resources. They're really there for you to have a very meaningful event. Now with that, I'm going to close out my section. So again, as a recap, we learned about the Clubs Challenge, which is our year-long fundraising competition in partnership with George Harrison Fund for UNICEF. Remember, George Harrison started hosted the very first benefit concert, as we know benefit concerts to be. Then we learned about the campaign in 3 easy steps. You go to that GoFundMe, you start your fundraiser, you nominate another club to host their own fundraiser, and then share on social media why you're hosting your fundraiser and who you're nominating for a chance at giveaways. Like I said, we will give you access to a toolkit that will have great templates that you can use for social media, for email. It will have downloadable templates like that social media template, story template that you saw. It'll have a QR code. And then you can either start a page on GoFundMe or you can host a fundraiser through our fundraiser and event application. And then finally, I walked you through some great tips and tricks of how to host a fundraiser either for this campaign or any other time throughout the year. So I hope that was helpful. Feel free to keep chatting in your questions. I'm now going to pass it over to Shika and Aged, who really are our experts on the ground, who know all the wonderful things that our clubs have been doing throughout the year, especially in this kind of very unique past year and a half that we've been living in, academic year that is. So with that, I will pass it to you guys.
Thank you, Emiliana. So next we wanted to go into some tips, some fundraising tips that you and your clubs may do throughout the rest of your school year. So the first thing is doing an online sales, so selling stickers, and then Shika's gonna go through the next one.
Yeah, so first of all, just since it is COVID and we would really like all the fundraisers to be virtual, we know that it's a little bit difficult to figure out ideas. So another thing you could do is like a virtual workout class where you have people like pay to join it and then have that donation that they give kind of help for that fundraiser, and you can kind of do a fun workout with good music and stuff like that.
You can also do a virtual individual water walk where you record yourself walking. To combine those videos of you and your clubs, but that's an individual walk on your own.
Another thing you could also do that we've seen clubs do is a virtual benefit concert or show. So that could be whether you have someone who's like a singer come and like on a Zoom call sing, or you could do like people who play instruments. You could have like an orchestra or like individuals record themselves playing a song or something like that.
And the next one will be a social media bingo where you have a bingo card that has the amount of money that you want your followers to be donating, and then your followers will like send you a DM and you will cross out how much they're giving.
And then another thing you could also do is like an online game night, a tournament night, a trivia night, anything like that. There's a lot of different like online platforms in which you can do it, whether it's like Jackbox games, or you could do like Scribble.io is another website you can use to kind of like have games, and then people can hop on a Zoom call for that.
And you can also do a movie screening night.
And then another thing you could do is like a fundraising competition. So you could be competing against another school, another grade, and kind of just make it a competition so that people feel like they like it kind of just like makes it into like friendly competitiveness, and like you can be competing against one another. And then the last idea.
The last idea, which is my favorite, I've done this with my club, but it's virtual cooking/painting class. And you can also be creative with this one where you record yourself cooking and just letting the rest of your members know how it tasted. So yes.
And then these are just like photos of ideas. So on the left, we have West High School in Iowa and UNICEF Iowa collaborated to do a virtual concert, which they call, which essentially they had like different students playing their instruments and doing different songs. And that's just like a great idea of how to like, if your members are especially creative or like musically talented, you could have them kind of help out, or people could submit their videos, or you could even do it live on a Zoom call.
And this bingo card was from George Mason University. So this was the bingo card that I was explaining in the previous slide. So what they did was they displayed the amount of money that they wanted their followers to donate to, and they have a specific place where the money will be donating, so the followers know the reason why they're doing this fundraiser.
All right. And then now we're going to go on to the Q&A section. So I think some people have already started putting questions in, but go ahead and use the Q&A function and then type your question in, and we'll try to answer it to the best of our abilities. And Emiliana, I think we'll have you help us out with that a little bit too.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and say the first question. So the first question is, what are some tips you have when charging people / raising money for a fundraiser that's fully online? And Jennifer said that she would answer this one.
Or yeah, I think you can also answer it if you want.
Okay.
Great, so I can get us started, and then I would love to hear what thoughts, Shika and Aget, maybe you have from your own club experience. I think that a couple things. One, if we're thinking about like, how do we inspire people to donate to our events when they are online and maybe you don't have that face-to-face opportunity, is that you really tell a powerful story, a meaningful story. Why is it that you, a student in X or Y city state, is raising funds for a child in another country? So tell that story, inspire that person to really feel compelled to support you. So that would be like the gushy mushy answer. The maybe more technical answer would be using our platforms. So again, it's much easier if it's an in-person event to grab people's cash at the door for an event, right? But take advantage of the platforms that we do have available for you, like our ticketing page where you can sell tickets to a Zoom event, or in this case, GoFundMe. I think just taking advantage of those platforms.
I think those are great tips. And also another thing, just speaking from personal experience, especially when it's online and maybe people don't feel necessarily that they don't feel as inclined to like pay when they're just like sitting at their computer, is to kind of combine that ticket price with something else. So for example, my club at Mayo did a movie night, and instead of charging people for the actual movie, we charged for concessions. And so we had dropped off concessions at people's houses, and that way you're kind of getting a product with your money. So sometimes people kind of feel like you're getting more out of like donating, and then also during the movie, being like, well, thank you so much for coming. And at the end, you can be like, we'd also really appreciate if you could just donate for coming. So it's not like you have to pay to attend, but if someone's had a good time at their event, then they're more inclined maybe at the end be like, wow, I really enjoyed this, and I know it's going to a great place. And then they'll be willing to kind of drop a couple dollars into the GoFundMe or whatever sort of platform you're using. And again, do you have any other tips as well?
I think you guys definitely answered all, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those are really great ideas. And then one other thing that I can think of is if you also maybe tie that donation to something a bit more tangible. So let's say, and I'm going to use a random example, don't quote me on this. Let's say it cost $40 to purchase 25 backpacks for children across around the world. You could kind of say that this donation is equivalent to what 40 backpack donation would be equivalent to. So tying it to something a bit more tangible, and we can pull those price points from our website easily for you.
All right, perfect. So the next question that I see is, what are some of the best ways to network with clubs across a state or even country? Is there a platform or on your website? And so actually for all clubs, there's an amazing platform that you can use to kind of connect with other people. And that is the Slack channel. So Slack is like an app and you can download it. And I don't remember the exact code that you have to put in to join the Slack, but it's on our UNICEF Club's Instagram, and maybe we can put it in the chat later on. But that's a great way to send messages and be like, hey, we're thinking of planning a bingo like fundraiser. Would any other club be interested? And then that way you can network with clubs all across the US, whether it's a high school club or a college club. And you can just really make sure that you're able to interact with people. And I think that's probably the best way, but otherwise also reach out to like the regional offices and the National Council if you have ever had any questions about like networking as well. And I guess, again, do you have anything else to add on to that?
You got it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So the next question is, if I'm the president of UNICEF Club at my school, I set up the GoFundMe page on behalf of my club, right? So this also depends if you have a fundraising chair. So you or your fundraising chair are able to set up that GoFundMe page, depending on who's able to do it or who holds your funds.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone within your club can do it, but it's entirely up to you as the president if you want to be the one to do it, or your fundraising chair, as Agat just said. It's a very easy, straightforward process, so it won't ask for any sort of personal information other than the name, your last name, and your email. Very, very straightforward. So definitely.
All right, perfect. And then I guess another question we have, and maybe Emiliana, you can also kind of help out with this, because I'm seeing a couple of questions about like the difference between creating your own GoFundMe for your club and then the George Harrison GoFundMe. So to kind of loop in a couple of them, do you have to put the money into the George Harrison GoFundMe, or can you make your own club GoFundMe? And like kind of just to kind of clarify that, how should it look for clubs, I guess?
Yes, this is a really great question, because for those of you who are kind of bringing this up, you probably know that we actually have a club's GoFundMe campaign page that's already live on GoFundMe charity. And I'm so excited to share that we had a goal of raising $25,000, and our clubs are at like $23,000. So you have done a wonderful job raising funds all throughout the year through GoFundMe. So the answer is, for this campaign, it's totally fine to make a new page on the George Harrison GoFundMe page. You should still write in your club's name so that we can credit those funds to your club. And once we finish this campaign, we can easily pop all of those pages over to the UNICEF Clubs campaign so that we can have one collective fundraising goal and see what all of the clubs have raised throughout the year. But for this campaign specifically, we thought that we would do it on a separate campaign page because we do have such a specific goal of $10,000. And we thought it would be really straightforward to have those instructions there of how to participate. But the short answer is, it doesn't matter. The funds will still come in coded accordingly so that it is booked against your club record, and so that it counts towards that $10,000 goal. I hope that clears up your answer, but if I can answer it offline, I'm more than happy to as well.
Oh, thank you. And then another question is, if my school doesn't allow clubs to use GoFundMe or third-party payment sites, what are some ideas to collecting donations?
Yeah, this is a really, really great question, and something that I missed to share during my presentation. And it's that is totally fine. We totally understand that different school administrations have different policies. So certainly follow those policies first, whatever your school guidelines are. If you maybe collect the funds through your school and then the school is the one that cuts the check, that's all right. We do have two main ways that we ask you to remit your funds so that they are credited to your club. One is online, and we can chat in the friendly URL, but it's just unicefusa.org/clubsremit. So this is where, if you wanted to submit the funds from a credit card or a debit card, PayPal, you would be able to do it that way. And then two, if you maybe need to mail in a check, so maybe your school admin needs to mail in that check, then we do have a donation form that is live on our UNICEF Clubs resources page that you can easily use. You can download it, you fill it out, and you would mail in your check with that donation form. The reason why it's very, very important that you use either that Clubs Remit donation page or the donation form for the check is so that your club will get credit for those funds. So make sure that if you are not going through the GoFundMe, which is totally okay, that you are doing remitting your funds in those two ways. And if you still want to participate in the giveaways and the campaign, then we certainly ask that you tag UNICEF Clubs in your social media posts so that we can see all of the great content that you are sharing, and so that you can be eligible for our giveaways.
All right, perfect. And I think also for someone that asked about like a restaurant fundraiser, that kind of goes the same way. Either you can do the two options that Emiliana talked about, or you can compile all the money from one person and have them put it on the GoFundMe. So there's a lot of different options on how you can do it. And then I guess pivoting away from fundraising related stuff, there is a question about what are some tips to make club meetings more interactive and the events more successful? So I definitely understand that with COVID, everything's virtual and definitely retention rates are harder to keep up when you are on virtual. But I think that in terms of club meetings, and again, feel free to like chime in as well. My club has really tried to have like action items during our meetings. So whether that's signing a petition using the UNICEF Action Center, or it is writing a letter or a thank you note to healthcare workers at the end, or doing a game, having some sort of thing where people can really not just be like looking at a screen, but actually interact and move. That's often a great way to kind of make people more interested. And then in terms of the fundraisers, I think one thing I would suggest is like considering partnering with other clubs on campus or in your high school, or partnering with other organizations, because then that way you're going to be able to get the audience of both your own club and then also the audience of the other person that you're partnering with. So those are two things I would say, but again, feel free to like say anything else that you found that is helpful. And I think she might have somehow, oh wait, I think she's back.
Those are really, really great ideas though.
Thank you.
Definitely lean on your fellow peers. To get your back.
Sorry about that. My computer just kicked me out for some reason.
You're good. Did you have any other ideas on like how has your club made meetings or fundraisers more interactive and successful, or?
Yes, so what I've seen on the club at my school and other organization on campus, they've been doing like weekly check-ins with their members. So they have like a safe space or a safe Zoom space for them to like join and just like hang out for a little bit. So I've seen that to like increase membership and also engagement. So I've heard that that's been helpful. So sorry, my roommates are loud.
You're good. Iget, do you want to have another question that you want to answer?
Yes. So someone wants to know how they can get a guest speaker.
Yeah, great question. So you just go to unicefusa.org/fundraiser, fill out the fundraiser event application with the details of when you would want that guest speaker, so the date, the time, the topic, and then I will be in contact with you to get you set up with the best guest speaker. And that would be for a UNICEF or UNICEF USA guest speaker specifically.
All right, and then let's see, another question, I guess, is, let's see. So if we're doing the next question is, if you were doing a GoFundMe, do we need to mail in a check or does it automatically go to UNICEF?
Anything that is submitted through GoFundMe will actually all happen automatically, which is what's so nice about it. So all you have to do is set it up, customize it, go live, share it with your network, and then anyone who makes a $10, $5, $20, $100 donation on your page, it will go directly to UNICEF. It will be coded to your club record, and you won't need to do anything automatically. And then the great thing is that each donor will receive their own receipt that's good for tax purposes. So if maybe you have a relative who wants to make a significant donation, this is the perfect opportunity because they can support your club, they can support UNICEF, and they'll get their receipt, which is good for tax purposes. Now I am going to chat in here in a second, a way that you can add offline donations to answer the question about the club that can do restaurant nights. So let's say, my club is accepting donations through GoFundMe, but then separately I did a restaurant night. you can add in, let's say you raised $200 through your restaurant night, you can add that in as an offline donation. So it'll show in your total. So you'll get, you'll reach your goal, but you will just submit those donations to us through one of those two ways that I mentioned earlier. And I'll chat that in right now.
All right, perfect. Again, do you have another question?
Yes. So I have one more question related to Women's Day. So they're planning on doing something related to girls' empowerment. And do we have any event ideas? I have one. So for my club last year, we actually recognized, or we did an event specifically for the women on campus who were leading, who were leaders on campus. So we did an event recognizing them and awarding them for the amazing things that they did. But I'll also recommend you guys looking into what specific women you guys would like to highlight. And Shika, do you want to go? Do you want to add in onto that?
Yeah, so actually, I think it was 2 years ago, my club for Women's Day, or like Girls Empowerment Day, we did a sale of bracelets at our school. So this is something you could also do with a COVID-19 friendly format, where you could have you could either purchase bracelets from like company like Pura Vida, or you could hand make them, and then you could drop them off and sell them online. So that's one thing that I could think you could do really for any fundraiser, but I remember that we specifically did it for Girls Empowerment Day. So that's just one idea. But there's a lot of other ideas that have been posted on like the UNICEF Club's Instagram that you can check out. And also, if you check out the Slack, definitely use that to communicate with other club members and see what other people are doing.
And unfortunately, I do think we are at time, so I will let you close it out. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Emiliana. You've been super helpful with everything. And so just a couple of last things that we want to talk about are some updates and reminders for all those that are in the clubs program, because we know that we've been receiving a lot of questions about a bunch of different things. So first of all, in terms of club registrations, they are still being approved. So if you have not gotten yours approved yet, just hold on, and it's probably coming soon. And also, back to school kits will be sent within 4 to 5 weeks after you've been approved. So the approval will come in the form of an email. And just make sure that if you do want your thing to be approved, you need to make sure that your advisor, if you're in a high school club, has done the adult background check. And then the next update is, remember to send any t-shirt designs or any sort of like club merch to volunteer@unicef.org for approval. So this matter is like for anything, whether you're doing a club sweatshirt, a club shirt, anything like that. Just make sure you send it through to that email address, because then we can make sure that the logo that you're using is appropriate and all the branding and language is ready to go. And then the next update is also to make sure that you have not forgotten to register for Advocacy Week. And if you already have registered, don't forget that we have a mandatory participant webinar on March 16th, just to help you get ready. But Advocacy Week is going to be a great time for UNICEF Club members and UNICEF Exec Board members to really get used to learning how to advocate for child rights legislation. And there's a lot of really interesting things that are going to happen that week. So make sure to check the UNICEF Club's Instagram to get updates and just register yourself in. And then also the last couple of things is, one, don't forget to stay tuned for our next IGTV video on the club's Instagram, and follow us at UNICEF Clubs. And then also, we actually have a SMS channel that is live now. So if you want to join it, you just click join in all uppercase letters at 86483. And you'll get updates every so often, about 2 times a week, just about different things that are going on, and just reminders for all club members. And that will be it. So thank you so much to everyone that attended today. It was great seeing all the questions and seeing all of you here to hear about fundraising ideas. So thank you and have a great night. And don't forget to email hello@unicef.org if you have any other questions.